Hi everyone, this is Killshot99 Dead. This is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 13, with a little bit of bonus spoiler coverage. So we are going to go through the spoilers we've mentioned. We've got just a little bit of information that might help develop the story. Looking forward to talking to each of you about that. And also some information that's starting to come out about next week's episode. The good news is it's Walking Dead Day. We're only a few hours away from watching another awesome episode and getting our countdown going. But also the bad news is only 4 episodes left. But we got plenty of stuff to talk about. We got Game of Thrones right around the corner. Passage is going to be gone too. So we're going to get back to a lot of our theories and speculation. And also we will have Fear the Walking Dead before too long as well. So let's jump into it. This is a complete spoiler stream. So feel free to zone in on any topic that you want to talk about. I do also want to give a happy birthday shout out to our very own Kamikaze One. She's taking a non-internet day on her birthday. What a great idea, but promised to watch the playback. So happy birthday to Cammie. Also, I do want to say the last couple streams we've done, for me personally, have been just a blast. If you guys have been able to participate over on 9 to 9 Gaming, with the Freestyle Friday on Saturday night we did last night. I had a blast last night with each and every one of you. And also the stream we did earlier today where we're doing our Pick 'em or Pike 'em, and there's going to be several more episodes of that. I posted a survey on the Patreon site, so we're going to let them pick a few of the ones we talk about in the next stream, and then after that, we're going to do a Pick 'em and Pike 'em, and I'm going to post on the Facebook fan page, so everybody's going to get a chance to jump into that. We got Beta the Chosen One. Kills, did you enjoy Captain Marvel? I did. I really enjoyed it. I know there's some reviews out there. People thought it was a little bit slower than they wanted it to be. But even last night, one of the questions in the freestyle stream came up of Dark Phoenix versus Captain Marvel, and I couldn't come up with one over the other. I think they're both incredible. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing Captain Marvel in the next Avengers as well, too. So let's jump into a couple spoilers, everybody. So as you guys know, you've probably been involved in a couple of streams. How does the episode begin? And I'll give a shortened version of this. So we just finished up that scene to where, all hell just went down at the Whisperer camp, and they're kind of running. They're getting away, and there is that little bit of debate. So people, because they see Henry's pushback, they think Henry's kind of rebellious and that Henry might have a future. I mean, that's not a lot to base it on, but Henry is getting kind of his way when it's between a conversation between him and Daryl. I know it's rubbing some people the wrong way, but there's a few people looking at it as a future leadership skill. Henry also says that he and Lydia can go their separate way, and Daryl and Connie can go back to Hilltop. That's a big disagreement. So some of the extra spoiler information, and I don't know when it happens, but apparently we get the kiss part 2. So we get a little bit additional bonding between Henry and Lydia. Leave your thoughts and comments. So that just a couple people have some information, have been talking about that. So it doesn't look like it's just strictly run around and save the girl. Apparently, there's a little bit more love-making in the future between Henry and Lydia. So, hey, by my count, Henry's had, the same amount of relationships as Daryl. So, he's doing something right. All right, we've got the next little part, and I know you guys want to know about... does something dangerous happen with Tara and company on the road? Do they make it to the fair? They do encounter a small herd, and Earl is almost bitten. So there is going to be some action in this. Let me say this with the overall spoilers. Earl is almost bitten. Daryl and Beta get in an epic fight. Guns are going to be pulled on the kingdom, and Henry's going to be stabbed. So don't think by the spoilers that are out there that this is not going to be an action-packed episode. It's going to be very good. But I know people want to see more death, but it's definitely going to get us right up to it. And I'm going to tell you some things some additional spoiler information that's come out that might help us with our death craze. So hold tight for that in just a minute. They do make it to the fair at the end. Tara mentions that she's surprised Daryl and Henry are not there. And Carol does not know what's going down at the end of this episode. And I know you guys know about the flashback next week, but that's going to be a topic of our conversation. Give me 1 second. One What does the letter to Carol mean? So we know about the Highwaymen. I did a couple streams of the Highwaymen, and I don't love the Highwaymen. I don't love their story unless it is part of the flashback. I would like them a little bit more and how they're going to be involved in it. But the additional spoiler information is going to help us with that as well, too. So hold tight just a minute. Who are the Highwaymen? That was the next question. They're pirates. They steal people's stuff. They will pull weapons, but we don't think that they're all-out villains. We don't think they're completely evil, and they will be allowed to go to the fair. That's important. Carol and Connie, now that they have Henry and Lydia, what's going on with them? They know that Alpha's going to be sending a crew out, so they decide to stop and wait. That's a little bit of the picture here. You know, Connie's going to point up like, hey, let's go over there. That becomes the choke point, and they're going to kind of take cover and wait for them. And Daryl gets his badass mode back and says, who's the toughest one? All right, I'm going to kill our son bitch first. So Daryl wants to go directly after Beta. We're going to get to see a little... You know, one thing about Daryl, he doesn't back down. And it's one thing we always love about his character is he is willing to step up and fight even if he's outmanned. And for a while, he will be outmanned. But he will get the upper head. Upper head, not upper head. He will get the upper hand. That, I can see. It's live. It's live, everybody. So, just wait for it. Sure somebody's going to hashtag something. I already know where everybody's minds are with this one. I'm moving on to the next topic. You guys type and chat whatever you guys want. All right. What does Lydia say about escaping? So here's a little bit of the bogged down storyline, and I'll get into that in 1 second because we got. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Sherry Bentley. Henry and Lydia on their own, please. He does not need to reproduce. This is this is the new thing. Budding relationships, out with the old, in with the new. Sherry, it is going to show you that Henry has fallen fast. I mean, he's been looking for someone to bond with. I mean, he had eyes on Enid. That didn't work out. We thought it was going to be Addie. That probably wasn't going to work out. And Lydia is, I mean, that's his soulmate. What can you say about it? A lot of people are complaining about it, but, I can't really blame the guy. Only live once, and he's trying to live. Here's a problem, and this is going to bog down the story a little bit, so I am uncomfortable with this part of it. Lydia does want to leave. She does want to be there with Henry and the group, but she doesn't want to kill any of those people that have a history of killing other people. This annoys the hell out of me. I get it. You've been around them, but they're murderers, Lydia, and you got a chance to get out, and she doesn't want to. So Henry made her a spear. It's love. Lydia also wants Henry to promise that he won't kill them either. So this is going to be a major setback. And of all the things I do like about tonight's episode, this is the problem. So Daryl is going to lock her up in a closet because she's not helping anybody. You might as well just hide her. The Daryl and Beta fight, this is what everybody's tuning in for. Daryl gets tossed around like a rag doll is what Spoiling Dead's fan page said. And by the way, these spoilers are courtesy of Spoiling Dead's fan page. You guys know from the previous stream. But we do have some additional information that I'm going to give you in just a minute once I get through these. So Daryl barely manages to get any punches in. He does try to stab Beta, and Beta has some armor. And Daryl eventually pushes him into an elevator shaft. So that probably is something, of all the things going on tonight, I want to see how the distraction takes place. I mean, if you're getting beat down and Beta probably outweighs him by about 100 pounds, how Daryl gets the upper hand, and this is not some quick, short fight. Apparently, this is a complete beatdown. But I do hope that Daryl gets some type of injury out of all of this. I do have to at least have a small touch of realism. Broken nose, black eye in a future episode, something, broken shoulder. If Beta is going to beat him down pretty bad, I need to see it. It's got to be authenticated. It has to be a really, really good fight scene. But I just don't feel like it's going to be. I feel like 5 minutes after the fight, Daryl's going to be like, I knocked that son of a bitch in an elevator shaft. Didn't even hurt me. It's probably going to be nothing. It needs to be a good beatdown. Daryl, Connie, and Henry will all fight. Henry does get stabbed in the leg. We assume that's by a whisperer. I doubt it's a knife-wielding walker. And the choke point, remember. So I don't know which whisperer is going to stab Henry. But Lydia breaks out of the closet. Dog attacks the whisperer. Connie will stab the whisperer after Dog tackles him. So it's a great scene. Shows teamwork. The group will not get to Alexandria. And then the question is, anyone dies? It's just going to be whispers. And how does the episode end? It ends with Beta at the bottom of the elevator shaft. Looks to be dead, but then he opens his eyes. So I don't know this is going to be huge spoiler news or groundbreaking spoiler news, and I don't know if it's confirmed just yet. So let me tell you why I think it's extremely relevant. Probably as relevant as the Lydia-Henry ongoing relationship. Because that the more they're into each other, figuratively, the more they're kissing, holding hands, making plans, to me shows the more power that Lydia has over Henry. And if Henry is at a moment where it's kill or be killed, is Henry going to pause? Like that scene with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino from Heat, where they're sitting down at the end and they're talking like, in that moment, if I have to do what I have to do and I have to pull a gun, I will not hesitate. You know what I'm talking about if you saw the movie, where they're back and forth. I'm wondering if Henry's demise could ultimately be attributed to the fact that he does fall so fast for Lydia and he does like Lydia so much that he might not be able to kill one of her own people. Just something to kind of keep in mind. All right, the other news that I think is, and maybe we glossed over this because The Walking Dead has sort of trained us to think a certain way. So we've got episode 13 this week, and next week is episode 14. Question for the Army, what is episode 14? We've been talking about it for several months. I'm going to wait for a couple people to chime in. And the reason I want you to chime in is because I want to kind of change the train of thought a little bit if this rumor is perhaps true. Flashback, right? And we've talked all along about 15 and 16 being the fair and the border scene. So we're hearing some news that next week may not be all backstory and all filler. I think that's hugely important because the idea was given that the whole episode is going to be nothing but telling the story and going back and reliving it. But now I'm getting mixed reviews that, no, that's not the case. It's going to be some backstory, but the story as we see it right now is going to continue to develop. So think about that for a second. So let's say the backstory's half of it, then you still got another 30 to 40 minutes of airtime where Alpha is making her path. Yes, the X's are going to be shown next week, but it may not be a full-fledged, this is how it happened, this is what they were doing at the time. It may be 10 to 15 minutes of the episode and a whole lot more of filling in the blanks. And my frustration when we talked about the Highwaymen and a couple other groups is based on what we saw this week and what we know about next week, 15 and 16 could be very, very rushed. So just keep that in mind. As I said, some very reliable resources have relayed the information to me that next week is not going to be all flashback. So even if it's 15, 20 minutes of additional Highwayman, of what Alpha's doing, if there's any dialogue that goes on at Alexandria, if there's a little bit more at the Kingdom, setting up for the fair, then we don't have to wait the 2 weeks and not get any of it. Really? Can we ban that person forever? Thank you. You're gone. It's mind-blowing to me, the amount of that still goes on. So I'm going to ask the group here, and let me know what you think. Would you rather see less backstory and some transition, or an entire episode of backstory and slightly rushed transition? And I know it sounds like a no-brainer at first, because most people are like, well, rushed is always bad. But it's really not. Because I'm going to give a huge shout-out to Angela Kang. She has rushed the story this year, and it has been brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant. The way that they have not dwelled on too much Oceanside and too much Kingdom story and getting to know all the saviors, she has done a brilliant job of all the things that have happened and keeping the story interesting and moving, which is why sometimes when we get to spoilers, it seems like, okay, not a lot's going on, but there is a lot going on, and the story just kind of keeps moving and it doesn't draw itself out. So that is a little bit of what we got going on with the spoilers. So if you guys, just really quickly, everybody, if you think Angela Kang has done a phenomenal job this season, pike that like button. Everybody hit the like button. And let's do a shout out, because I think Angela's going to come through. Let's get hashtag TWD Red Fair, because I do think that if next week, if that is confirmed information, if that is not all filler, all flashback, all backstory, if there's a little bit of transition, I think the Red Fair, I'm back on board of saying it is going to be bigger and badder than ever, everybody. Look, all the death might not happen at the Red Fair. I do think some people are going to be lured out. So here's the way I think it's going to go down. And I still think that the scene with Alpha and Beta outside the Kingdom, I think that's where they're going to lure some people out. But I really think that the Red Fair is going to be culminated, as Kel said, and we've talked about it a little bit earlier, I think in the middle of an Ezekiel speech, after the other people have been led away and after the other people have been taken down, I think it ends with chaos and Ezekiel going down. Wilson, different ways. I think they could be lured out by, you don't know who they are, whispers out of disguise, whispers cleaned up, whispers in distress, a couple different ways. And we'll have to see how all that plays out. Or, to the edge of the Kingdom and then, bringing them away from other people and then just smuggling them out. But it is going to be a Red Fair, whether all the death and destruction happens inside the fair or some of it happens outside the gates of the Kingdom, and then it kind of culminates with a very, very big death. And I think you're going to see a few people kind of taken away and chopped, and then the big event will be Ezekiel, and that'll be kind of the shock and then you're looking around like, where's such and such, where's such and such, and you don't know whether to react to the panic of the person that's dead, to go after the people that just killed the person, or to grab your closest loved one. And I think they're going to kill some people that are going to strategically be crippling to the other people that are there. So everybody, that is where we're going to leave it. We're about 20 minutes into this stream. This is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 13. Spoiler, a little bit of bonus coverage. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that Episode 14 next week ends with Alpha and Beta side by side getting ready to plan the big kingdom infiltration. So I want to thank each and every one for being here. We will be back live at 8 o'clock on the 999 Gaming channel. Everybody, make sure you're over there. It's going to be our Walking Dead countdown. We have a lot of fun with that. And, of course, we're going to be doing our reaction stream at 10:10 tonight. Thanks, everybody. Make sure you pike that like button if you had a good time today. And we'll see everybody at 8 o'clock tonight. No spoilers be included in that, so feel free to come and hang out. It will be our tailgate party for The Walking Dead. Thanks, everybody. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.